This video is sponsored by EA. What is going on, fellow fans of mobile gaming? It is your host, Galadon, and today we are back at it playing Command & Conquer Rivals, checking out some members of Full Attack that have absolutely devastating skill. And we've got Jekyll on the right-hand side against MI5 Jason. And watch this battle right here, because I'm telling you, it is a lot of fun to watch skilled players. You can learn a lot from these replays. Just check out the opening scout move by Jekyll that actually forces his opponent's harvester in a different direction. Now, Jekyll starts out by scouting. MI5 Jason starts out with a defensive move with the machine gun squad set up on that top left pad. Then, check out the snipers and their range. 3 tiles? Are you kidding me? Watch Jekyll's units get blasted as they beat a retreat. And right here, Jekyll desperately needs to switch to air. And for air, Jekyll has none other than the Orca Bomber. It bombs both enemy and friendly, yes, friendly units in a 1-tile radius, so be careful. It needs to reload, but it is devastating. Unfortunately for Jekyll, it took him a while to get it out, and watch how close he comes to stopping this missile launch. Not quite in time, and MI5 Jason gets the first missile off, but now Jekyll is in a great position. Watch the movement of that Orca Bomber. This is one of the keys to players that have a high amount of skill in Command & Conquer Rivals, and that is actions per minute, or actions per second. Moving those units, being constantly aware of every unit on the battlefield, both yours and your opponent's. Jekyll gets great value out of this Orca Bomber, and by the time it goes down, guess what? Number 2 comes out, and watch this bombing run as it absolutely annihilates everything in its path, and then turns for home, getting out of the way just in time. And now, it is Jekyll with the upper hand as he's got control of 2 of the 3 pads on his way to try to launch that tying missile, and the Orca Bomber, as you can see, still on the move. Jekyll maneuvering it beautifully, and watch it retreat and then grab another bombing run, blasting the pursuing units. And then check this out. Not only is it going to help Jekyll maintain control of the right 2 pads, but it's going to allow him to contest the top left pad. And by doing that, MI5 Jason is temporarily hopelessly overwhelmed and no chance to stop this second missile launch. And now Jekyll is tying the battle. It's 1-1, but check out the sandstorm from Jason as it just annihilates Jekyll's Orca Bomber. So it's all about the counters. You'll notice one unit countered by the next, and it becomes a matter of predicting opponents' moves and just trying to come up with the correct counters and, of course, the correct timing, getting on those pads at just the right time. Check out Jekyll's Grenadiers blast the sandstorm out of the way, and then the ultimate coup de grace move. Watch the Orca Bomber as it is going to move and tile block the sandstorm. That is the end of this battle. The sandstorm can't get onto the pad in time, and Jekyll, by sacrificing the Orca Bomber, picks up the victory. Sometimes it is the little things that mean the most. Alright, next battle, and it's Jekyll from Full Attack one more time, this time running a double harvester deck, because he's going to need that Tiberium for his sandstorm, which hits 2 adjacent units at the same time. But a big tip right here, even when you're running a double harvester deck, not a good idea to open back-to-back harvesters. And so you'll see Jekyll is scouting and also contesting the control of that bottom pad right at the beginning of the game. Missile Squad's a great unit. They're cheap, they're great to scout with, and here comes the epic infantry battle, and it becomes an exchange of counters. Each player creating something to counter the other player's units right at this one pad. Back and forth battle. The faster nod units kind of starting to get an advantage because they're getting out there and getting to the pad more quickly. They're getting control of the tiles, and there you can see Wilde Roofer now has 3 units on all 3 spaces, at least for a moment, and has the clear advantage right here. The missile is counting up, and notice Wilde Roofer has now moved forward, and he's going to contest the sandstorms even away from the pad. Jekyll producing multiple sandstorms right here. but he's forced to engage away from the pad, and Wilde Roofer is just continuously pumping out bike after bike after bike. And for a moment, Jekyll feels like he has the upper hand, and watch as he's finally going to gain control of this bottom pad and the top left pad at the same time. So he chooses, this is his time to grab the second harvester, and now he's rocking the double harvester deck. But because of that move, because of the costly move of going with a harvester rather than a combat unit, this allows Wilde Roofer to gain control of the pads right as the missile is charging up. And sure enough, Wilde Roofer is going to get that first missile launched onto Jekyll's base. But Jekyll's not that worried. He's got two harvesters working. He is protecting them. Notice he's got multiple sandstorms now, and watch the sandstorms go to work on the vehicles. Suddenly, the tide is going to change, the momentum is going to change. As Jekyll has lots of Tiberium coming in right now, the sandstorms are going to work on those vehicles, clearing the area completely, except for the unit that Wilde Roofer has focused on Jekyll's second harvester. So Jekyll realizes he's probably going to lose this harvester right now, and that's okay because now Jekyll is going to be able to bring a third sandstorm out on the map, and that is going to help him secure the second missile here in just a few seconds, as he's got all sorts of sandstorms all over the place, wiping out the vehicles right here. Solid control of the top left pad, the control of the middle pad. He's lost the harvester, but here comes that additional sandstorm, and that means no way that Wilde Roofer can stop Jekyll from the second missile launch. As he moves the sandstorm onto the top right pad at the same time, he's got control of all three pads temporarily, and here comes the tying missile, and now we are 1-1, but Jekyll truly has the momentum. Of course, Wilde Roofer does have heavy tech units as well, but Jekyll has already cleared the map, and notice, if you listen carefully, that's right, Jekyll is using Colonel Jackson's heroic charge to get those units into place too quickly for Wilde Roofer, and he's actually out micromanaging Wilde Roofer's moves. Jekyll consistently is maintaining control of two of the three pads, and then aggressively watch him move out and grab control of the top right pad. Again, it's all about controlling multiple units at once. Wilde Roofer tries to get a unit on that bottom middle pad, but not quite in time, and Jekyll picks up another victory by outmaneuvering his opponent and excellent micromanagement skills. So let's move on to yet another battle, this one between Jekyll and MIC-0322. In this battle, Jekyll has gone a completely different direction by bringing what's called an aggro deck. He doesn't have heavy units and mostly has cheap infantry to help secure the launch pads. Now, aggro decks are aggressive, charging the pad decks that usually end the game in 2 minutes or so. It doesn't allow the opponent's double harvester deck to get out, and heavy tech units rarely see the light of day. A lot of players love to play aggro decks because you could play up to 30 of these games in an hour, and that is a great strategy for maxing out the cloning lab. Alright, so let's catch up to this battle where his opponent has the double harvester deck. Jekyll opens with a war dog to scout, and the huge advantage right here means that Jekyll, because of the fog of war, he knows what is going on his opponent's side, but MIC does not know what is happening over on Jekyll's side of the map. Early on, this is just a big deck advantage on Jekyll's side because he went aggro against the double harvester deck. He easily grabs the first missile launch. Now right here, the continued fog of war on MIC's side is a huge disadvantage because he doesn't know what's going on the opposite side, and Jekyll does. So as buggies get built by MIC, Jekyll knows it's time to bring out the Rhino. Jekyll is building units in answer to what his opponent is doing. Now MIC does eventually start to bring out Banshees to counter the Rhinos, but maybe too many Banshees. Remember, the aggro deck versus the double harvester deck, the longer the battle wears on, the advantage will eventually shift to that double harvester deck player. But right here, notice the missile charging up. Jekyll has brought out the missile squads to deal with the Banshees. A couple of pads contested, the missile almost fully charged, and then right here, Watch the epic move again from Jekyll as he will tile block the bottom pad. And that is going to end the game right here. As the Confessors move in, they cannot get to the pad in time. They cannot step on it and stop the missile launch. And that, again, a small move, despite the huge units just about to overpower Jekyll, gets Jekyll the victory. And that is how small moves get big wins in Command & Conquer Rivals. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time for more Full Attacks.